So that was a nagoon, and in case you haven't heard that word before, nagoon just means a wordless melody. And a lot of them have their origin in the Hasidic movement, and different communities would have different nagoons that were associated with their community, and some of them are slow and contemplative, and some of them build you up into a fervor, and they're all for the purpose of just getting you kind of into a, you might say, a higher spiritual space, or just to kind of focus you on the moment. So that one was written by Debbie Friedman, who I did a whole musical morning about her music I guess a couple months ago now, and I may replay that one this month. She has an anthology that was this thick. I mean, so many wonderful, wonderful pieces that I could do probably a whole college course on her music, because there's so much of it. So that one was just a sweet one, I thought. This one, Named Otto, is often something that we do at the opening of services, and it's from Psalm 133, and it basically says how good it is for us all to sit together in peace. And this is one that I wrote just the other day. I would say one positive thing about this pandemic, Rabbi Allard kind of coined the phrase pandemic positive, is that I've had a lot of time to sit around and write things, and as they pop into my head for different services or different mornings, I just take the time to sit and write it. So that's been kind of a nice thing for me to get to do. So this is a new version of Named Otto. I think that woke me up. So here's another version of Named Otto that I've done many times at Micah for an opening of the service. This was written by Alana Arian. She's one of the up-and-comers. I was familiar with her mother, Mary Arian, when I did a workshop when I was first starting at Micah. They sent me to Hava Nashira, which is basically like a summer camp, like a week-long summer camp for Jewish music professionals. It was so much fun. I think you've maybe heard me talk about it before. So much fun. And her mom was one of the instructors. And I remember Alana this was about 15 years ago, so she was probably a late teenager at the time. She was singing a duet with her mom at one of the services, and now she's gone on to become quite a leader of the Reform movement. She's really terrific. You can look her up on YouTube, Alana Arian. She's got a lot of really nice music. She's a wonderful singer, really good guitar player. So this is her take on Named Otto. So another one that we often do for an opener, this one is Sheared Kadosh. It's based on Psalm 96. This was written by Julie Silver, no relation, but she's another one who's just terrific. She's a little bit older than Alana. She's probably in her early 50s now, I would think. And she came up from the Jewish summer camp movement. She's got a lot of wonderful things too, so I would encourage you to check her out. This is probably one of her most famous. It's funny how some songs just catch on, and then because these days it's so easy to share music with Facebook or internet or whatever, then they just kind of take off all over the country. So this is probably her most familiar. goes the lawnmower, just in time. Okay, so another version of the same psalm, Psalm 96, was written by Stacy Buyer, and she is a Nashvilleian who is quite a wonderful songwriter and singer, and is also a really activist. She really takes a lot of time to fight for causes that she believes in, and so this is her version of Sing Unto God. It's just kind of a fun, kind of rockin' thing. Oh, there goes the lawnmower again. Sing unto God a brand new song. Sing out loud and sing out strong. Let it last your whole life long. Sing unto God a brand new song. Hey, hey, la, la, la. Hey, hey, sing unto God a brand new song. Hey, hey, la, la, la. Hey, hey, sing unto God a brand new song. Sing unto God with all your heart. God can hear you wherever you are. Voices join from near and far. Sing unto God with all your heart. Hey, hey, la, la, la. Hey, hey, sing unto God a brand new song. Hey, hey, la, la, la. Hey, hey, sing unto God a brand new song. So I would encourage you to check her out too, Stacy Buyer, Beyer. I'm sure she's probably got stuff posted as well. So let's see, what else are we in the mood for? Okay, this is one, okay, I'm cheating a little bit because Allard at the time was married to Peter Allard, and they did a lot of stuff together. So this is the only one that has a male voice in there too. She has since gone off on her own because she got divorced, so now she's not Peter and Ellen, she's just Ellen Allard. She has tons and tons of stuff, mostly for kids. I took a workshop from her a few years ago, and she's just so great at teaching songs to kids and writing songs for kids. And this one is based on the morning prayer of Moda Ani, which basically just thanks God for waking up in the morning, which I think right now we're all basically doing that. So this is their take on Moda Ani. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. When I wake up, I say it's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. When I wake up, I say it's a brand new day. Moda ani lefanecha. Moda ani lefanecha. I come to you and offer thanks, it's a brand new day. Melech Chai v'kayam, Melech Chai v'kayam. Source of life for all that is, it's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. When I wake up, I say it's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. When I wake up, I say it's a brand new day. It's just a nice, cheerful song to wake up to, I think. And you know, I have to throw this in. I think I may have mentioned this a few weeks ago. That when I was growing up, I went to a conservative synagogue, as Marilyn did. In fact, we were at Sunday school together, and we spent a lot of time running up and down the hall and running into the bathroom to avoid being in class. So it's sort of the ultimate irony that I've ended up doing what I do. But the music was not like this. It was the traditional music that was written anywhere from 100 years ago, 150 years ago. I mean, some of it was quite beautiful, but it was not folk songy, fun, pop, rock stuff. And that's what's changed, particularly in the past 50 years. So when I started at Micah, I just didn't have a clue what all that music was. I thought it sounded like it was all from the musical Hair. It was like, what is this music? And at first I was kind of put off. It's like, this isn't synagogue music. This is much too informal. What is this? And then as I got used to it and I got more familiar with it, then I began to love it, and I saw the value in having music that was approachable and accessible and that wasn't just grand music up on high. I mean, there's definitely appropriate occasions for that as well, and I wouldn't want to lose that. But it's been really fun over the past 15 years. I kind of started from scratch learning all this stuff, because a lot of the cantors now, these days, are cantorial soloists or people that are doing what I'm doing. They grew up going to Jewish summer camp. So this kind of music was totally familiar to them. I went to Jewish day camp and learned things like Zum Gali Gali, you know, and some of the early Israeli pioneer songs, but I didn't learn any of this stuff. So it was totally brand new, and I mainly learned it from songbooks and CDs, and so it's been a real education for me. I've really enjoyed discovering a lot of this new to me stuff. So let's see. Okay, here's one by, I'd say she's probably the up-and-comer who's really getting a lot of attention right now. Her name is Chava Mirel, M-I-R-E-L. She's from Seattle. She does all kinds of music. She does jazz, she does pop, but she grew up in Jewish music. Her parents, I think, are both rabbis, and I think that the rabbis Rice know her parents. She is terrific. She's beautiful. She's got a beautiful voice. She plays great guitar. She sings great songs. In fact, she was our guest at the Women's Seder a couple years ago at Micah. So you may, Francis, if you came to the Women's Seder, obviously not this year because we didn't have it. I think it was last year. She was the artist in residence for the weekend, including the Women's Seder, and did some other things as well.
Yeah, I think I was there.
Yeah, she's terrific, so I really encourage you to check her out. But this is a piece that I discovered online that she had written. It's catching on all over the country. It's based on Psalm 27, verse 4, which the text says, "One thing I ask of the Lord, that I seek, that I might dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to see the pleasantness of the Lord and to visit his temple every morning." So most of this is in Hebrew, but there's a couple lines in English as well. Achat shalti meid Adonai, Achat shalti otav akesh, Achat shalti meid Adonai, Achat shalti atav akesh, shivti, shivti, beveit Adonai, shivti, shivti, kol yemei chaya, shivti, shivti, beveit Adonai, shivti, shivti, kol yemei chaya, lechazot b'noam Adonai, uvaker b'hechalom, lechazot b'noam Adonai, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai. One thing, I ask you, Adonai, to be with you all of my life. One thing, I ask you, Achat shalti made Adonai. Achat shalti otav akesh.
That was so beautiful.
Thank you. That's such a pretty piece. It's just
Yeah.
really, really pretty. And she's just terrific. So there's plenty more of her things out there. So this is one I wrote actually last week. And I posted it. So Marilyn, I think you've heard it. But we did the Pride Shabbat. I think it was last week. I've kind of lost track now. But Rabbi Lori asked me to come up with some ideas for the service. And one of the central ideas of the service was B'Tselem Elohim, which means made in the image of God, which I've heard that over and over, in the image of God. But I really didn't know what that phrase meant. I didn't know, like, what does in the image mean? Because, you know, it's not a photograph. It's not a piece of art. So what is the image? So I asked Rabbi Lori, and she said that there are three basic attributes that we are supposedly made to be like, and that is that we all have a divine spark, that we're all of infinite worth, and we are all different but equal in the eyes of God. So finally I thought, okay, now I think I know what that means. So this is what came from that conversation with her. We are made in the image of God, each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim. We are made in the image of God, each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim. In every person's heart there is a divine spark, he and she and they and you and I. All beings of the earth are of infinite worth. Okay, hold on a second there. I have to stop because in the middle of this lovely song, my husband is on the other side of the class making faces at me. Okay, so Clayton is now part of the show because see, there's a little French door with little panes just like that. He's fixing himself a cup of coffee and he's dancing and making faces at me. And I really, really tried to keep my composure, but I couldn't do it. Okay, so Clayton, do you promise not to do that? No, he's not going to promise because if you know Clayton, he's not going to promise. He's going to do it again. So, okay, Clayton, should I do it again? Go. All right, he says go. I think I'm going to hold him to his word. So I did not mean to be irreverent at all, but I just couldn't hold it together. All right, I'm going to start again. We are made in the image of God, each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim. We are made in the image of God, each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim. In every person's heart there is a divine spark, he and she and they and you and I. All beings of the earth are of infinite worth, all equal in the eyes of Adonai. We are made in the image of God, each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim. We are made we've got, each one of us, but B'Tselem Elohim. All right, I made it through that time. So I have to say, Clayton is also unique and of infinite worth, and he has been keeping me laughing during these couple months where, things aren't always funny, but he always finds a way to make things funny. So thank you for that, Clayton. So, okay, here's another one that actually I finished the other day. Not trying to hog the show with my stuff, but I figure I have a captive audience, so what the heck? I'm going to throw a couple things in. So this one actually is not really a cheerful one, but I found it comforting to write it. A couple weeks ago, in the midst of all the pandemic stuff and, constant worry about what's safe and what isn't, and then when all the protests, the nonviolent ones and then the violent ones, everything was just feeling really dark for the moment. And these verses popped into my head, and then it took a minute to finish it, but I based the chorus on Psalm 121, Esa Anai, which is, talks about where do I look for comfort. I lift my eyes to the mountains and the creator of the heavens. And then I finished it just the other day, and I felt better after I finished it. So I thought I would just sing it for you. I haven't actually sung it for anybody yet, so we'll see. I'm going to get my pick for this. How can I help when I feel helpless? How do I hope when I feel hopeless? What do I say when I don't know what to say? Where do I turn? Where do I turn? Where is my courage when I'm fearful? Where is my strength when I am weak? What do I pray when I don't know what to pray? Where do I turn? Where do I turn? Esayanai, Elhei Harim, Me'ayin Yavo, Ezri, Ezri Mein Adonai, Osei Shamayim, I lift my eyes to the creator of the mountain, of the earth and moon and stars, the guardian of my way every night and every day. God will protect my soul from harm. Esanai, Elhei Harim, Me'ayin Yavo, Ezri, Ezri Mein Adonai, Osei Shamayim Haaretz, Osei Shamayim Haaretz.
That was beautiful.
Ah, thank you, thank you. Well, the Psalms, there's a lot of good stuff there. A lot of good things to write songs from and just a lot of things to think about. And so, thanks. Thanks for indulging me, letting me just try out something new. So, another thing that I've been doing during this time to find new songs is perusing songbooks. I have a lot of songbooks, and a lot of times I don't use them because we tend to do a lot of the same things over and over in services because it's comfortable for people to hear familiar things. But now, since everything is all new and unfamiliar and uncomfortable, we're just trying all kinds of things. So I looked through a songbook the other day. I found this one written on the text that was from Pirkei Avot, which basically translates to the ethics of our forefathers or the wisdom of our forefathers. And this text is from Pirkei Avot and attributed to Rabbi Hillel. And it says, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? And if I am for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? So there's a familiar version by Debbie Friedman, which is probably the most well-known, but I found this one by Beth Schaefer, who is another popular songwriter in the Jewish Reform movement. She has a lot of great stuff too. So I thought I would try this one out. It's fun. Im ein ani li mili u'she'ani la'atzmi mani. That's kind of the repetitive phrase. So, if I don't stand for myself, and who will stand for me? If I don't know me, who's gonna show me? And if I don't stand up for another, who is my brother? How will I hold my head up high? Find you, I will remind you that I'm behind you. And would you please watch out for me if I go astray now? Help me make it okay now. Show me the way. That's rather a tongue twister. A lot of these Hebrew songs that go fast, you know, they're jamming in a lot of syllables into the music, and it's like, wow, okay, sometimes I get them, and sometimes it just comes out a little garbled, but okay. So let's see, are we up for hanging in for a couple more songs? Okay, so here's another one I wrote the other day. I did it last night in the service. It's actually an evening prayer, the prayer of Ma'ariv Aravim. And there's one that I've been doing for years, written by Dan Nichols, which is wonderful. I love it, and I thought, well, it's time to have a new one. So I worked on it and just finished it the other day, and I figured I would try it out on you guys. With the setting of the sun, you separate the light from the darkness. We praise you, Adonai, creator of the moon and stars. And as the evening falls, we trust that day and night are equal partners. We thank you for the day and rest in the tranquility of night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim v'chokma l'teach she'arim u'v'tvuna meshane yitim ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב Aravi. Thank you. Thank you. You are a very lovely audience. Of course, it's nice to have one of my close friends. That's helped. You know, I've kind of padded the audience. So, okay, how about one more up-tempo one. I did this a few weeks ago, but I really like it, so I'll do it again. It's written by someone who I have just become aware of, and I found it in a songbook, one of the Jewish Reform songbooks. Her name is Abby Strauss. You can be on the lookout for her. She's young. She's from Memphis. I believe she is the cantorial soloist at Temple Israel in Memphis, which is the big Reform temple in Memphis. She has an interesting musical background. I think she's got for sure a bachelor's in music, maybe a master's in music as well. But I discovered this one, and I think it's really a nice, hopeful thing to end on. But check her out, Abby Strauss. She's really good. Okay, we're going to see if I remember how this goes. אני מאמין באמונה שלמה, אני מאמינה באמונה שלמה. I believe in the sun even when it's not shining, and I believe in love even when there's no one there, and I believe in God even when God is silent. I believe with perfect faith. So I'll take a second and let you know where the text comes from. The Hebrew text is from the 13 Principles of Faith by Maimonides from the 12th century. He was a 12th century Jewish philosopher. And the English text is anonymous from a poem of belief. Surely someone wrote it, but there's no, it doesn't say who, from Cologne, Germany. But this is Abby's musical setting. אני מאמין באמונה שלמה, אני מאמינה באמונה שלמה. I believe through any trial, there's always a way. But sometimes in this suffering, hopeless despair, my heart cries for shelter, to know someone's there. Then a voice rises in me saying, hold on, my child, I'll give you strength, I'll give you hope, to stay a little while. אני מאמין באמונה שלמה, אני מאמינה באמונה שלמה. May there someday be sunshine, may there someday be happiness, may there someday be love, may there someday be peace, may there someday be sunshine, may there someday be happiness, may there someday be love, may there someday be peace. Oh, say shalom, b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oh, say shalom, b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. So I wish that for all of you. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining me.